Hello. Good morning, everyone. How you feeling? A lot of sore heads, sore feet. A lot of dancing done last night. I heard there was a piano on the go in the lobby down there at 2 a.m. So, was it? Porrick, I think you were there. All right, so we're going to jump in. I want to welcome Shelley Preby all the way from the United States of America. And Shelley is going to chat with us. I'm fascinated, scaling executive coaching with AI, Mission Possible. I can't wait to find out what's going on here. So we're going to roll it out and we'll see what happens here. So Shelley, you have the floor.
Let's see how we'll have at it. Okay, so this is executive coaching and AI. But what I really want to emphasize as we start out, that this is really AI and fill in the blank. Fill in the blank with where you are, where you're sitting, what your role is, in what organization you serve, in whatever industry you serve, right? Coaching, not exclusive. Gala invites us to look at the do's, the don'ts, the myths, and the truths. And I chose to look at the perils and the promise of AI through the lens of executive coaching, because that's what I've done for 14 years. My tie to Gala is that I was at home in this industry for 22 years before that. In fact, in another life, I was a Gala board member. So there's so much to uncover, and as we go forward, I want to share with you that my attitude as I go into this is captured by this AI-generated image by DALL-E. And that is of a professional who's looking with intention, with calm, towards a future that is AI outside the window. And how will we get there? And what does that mean? Okay, so we're going to kind of check on what emotions you are bringing to this topic today. So if you, and Paul is going to capture these results, if you'll be so kind as to follow this survey, very, very easy jumpstart. Are you worried? Are you confident? Are you curious? Are you excited? Now, these don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive, right? But just choose the one that resonates the most with you, and we'll take a look at that as an entry and exit survey today. As a side note, I will share that you do not want to know how long the tunnel I went down looking at dogs with their heads out of the window. I am so embarrassed to tell you, right? But I will also say it's really hard to find a dog with their head out of the window that is worried. They're all like, ah, much more excited. Okay. So I do want to share with you also that my emotion as I went into this, and it's been a journey, I pushed send on the proposal for this presentation at the 11th and a half hour, because I wouldn't have classified myself in the confident or excited category. But I wanted to do what I encourage my clients to do, and that's to stretch beyond my comfort zone, to be curious, and not to default to assumptions that might be limiting. And that's how I went into this. By the way, some seasons ago, I had a Gala presentation on imposter experience. I will also share with you that I got to experience up close and personal what the imposter experience that I coach so many clients around feels like as I jumped into this topic. Further exacerbated by my grown children who said, Mom, why are they asking you to present on that? So here we go. I will, however, say that the outcomes of what I learned, what I did, and of this journey were that it has already had an impact on my professional brand. I've already found some immediate, specific ways to use and implement this in the process of what I do. And it's really opened my eyes to some strategic possibilities for business plans in the future. So as we move through this today, that's exactly what I encourage you to think of in these terms. What could this mean for your brand? What's possible now? What might be possible later? So that's the thinking throughout. Okay, Gala's very on brand. While you take a look at this, because they started, did anybody see Gala's New Year's welcome message? Well, it's captured there. And Gala jumped in and said, you know what, let us just try this. Let us put our toe in the water. Let's see what's going on. And this is their New Year's message. While we take a look at that, Paul, it might be a good time to check in on our, and the survey says, oh, here, do you want this?
Hello? Yeah, we're good. Thanks. So I'm not sure, Shelley, what you're going to draw from this, but there's only 3 people in the room who are actually excited by this stuff.
That's okay. Hey, I was not excited when I decided to present this, so I
that's
can
a
relate.
little surprising. So we've 3 excited people out there, which is great, and we've 4 worried people out there. So you know who you are. Vast majority of people are curious, and absolutely no one is confident. So we're in good company here.
Okay, I think this is making a lot of sense. Okay, so what we're going to do, the way that we're going to use this time is actually, I have stories to tell. I have opinions about this. They are bursting to get out of me, but I'm going to wait and share those at the end because the curiosity, it's not curiosity if I just tell you what I already know and what I already think, right? This is about looking at different perspectives. So throughout the course of today, we'll hear from a long-term client who I think you will know, many of you possibly, a greater database of surveying of my client base from the governing associations for coaching. And then I have a video, and it's one of my favorite parts of the presentation. And this is an interview with someone who founded an AI coaching company. And then, at long last, what I think, some of my stories. That's the fun part. But it's all fun. Okay, so let's start with, does anyone know Salvo? Yes. Okay, so Salvo's a long-term client. He actually comes with so much credibility with this audience because of the amazing work that he's done in the globalization field at Airbnb. He also, and I didn't realize, but his doctorate is based on research in semantics, CAT tools, AI, semantic web technologies, formulaic language, corpus-driven linguistics, usage-based linguistics, and MT. So Salvo is, you know, he has a very interesting and credible perspective. Let's see what Salvo has to say.
Hi. What I consider an AI executive coach, I think the short answer is no, I don't think I would. And the reason why is I'm a believer in AI. I have a background in AI, and I've implemented at Airbnb an amazing AI MT technology. I see AI as a tool that helps humans and helps humans do things that are either boring or impossible for humans to do because of the volume of work entailed. But I think we need to use AI in areas where it really helps. And coaching, executive coaching, in my view, is something that is uniquely human. the ability of a coach to gather information, infer connections, understand what's going on between what is verbal and nonverbal, and putting it into context. That is something that is so human that even the most powerful AI systems of today, I don't think can do. So for now, I will stick with my amazing human coach. Bye.
Okay, so for now, Salvo's not firing me. Okay? But I don't want to be overconfident. Okay, next, I did send out a survey to all of my client base. And if anything, I skewed the results towards actually people towards a population that would be open to replacing their coach. Because if I had done a pro bono session once for one of my kids' friends who's getting out of school, I counted them as a client. So I really opened up the database of discovery to a wide range of demographics. So with that being said, what concerns, and this is, I don't know, this might be a little bit small, and I can just recap this, okay? The concerns that would keep people from using an AI-based coaching system, the top 4, when they were categorized, were all about the human element: emotions, relationship, inference. Okay, so it wasn't data security, integration with technologies. Those things were further down on the list. Now, what would motivate someone to consider this? Because I think that's really interesting, the other side of it, right? And I mean, more than 70% of people, and I think this makes perfect sense, said more vast access to a more vast data set, more than is in the in the head of this pre-bee brain. Okay, the second, which also makes sense, I could have almost predicted these. 24/7 access, I am not accessible 24/7, I guarantee you that. And cost effectiveness, I actually thought that one would be higher. I think that is because I expanded the data set to people beyond corporate types of purchasers. So I don't think that that was necessarily even their mindset. What I will say as the 2 important data points here is to the question, would you consider replacing your coach with an AI system? On a 1 to 10 scale, the answer was 3. Okay, now that's not a 0, that's not a 1, that's a Shelley, pay attention, okay? Would you consider as a complement to your coach? 7. And so I think that really is indicative of something to think about from business strategy. Is there another niche to serve that doesn't cannibalize business, but that opens up another possibility and another revenue stream? And so now things are starting to cook for me a little bit. Okay, I'm going to just really quickly say there are 2 governing bodies. The International Coaching Federation is the more US-based. I actually, and this is a statement from them, that the cornerstone of coaching rests on the power of conversation. And the ways that we will use AI are, so that coaches can devote more time to meaningful conversations. Official statement, reams and reams of data on their site. Since then, and I remembered where I was, Gala, I remembered, Shelley, get your American brain off. And so I looked up the Europe more global trade association, which is the EEMC for coaching. And they're actually, I would say, ahead of the game. And what they said, they've actually published an ethics guideline for AI-based coaching, and they published this in July 2023. The statement that they made was that basically it's an ethics guideline for the use stating that it will, that it is promising when used, it can lead to wider use of coaching. And this is the democratization of this process. Because I can tell you, I work with corporate clients who want to push corporate coaching down further into the organization. And it's really hard because of the cost around it. So we do have to be thinking, what works for our clients? How can we get services that people need out there in a more effective basis? Okay, next to that regard, right? This is, I actually signed up as a client with Rocky AI, an AI-generated coaching system. I failed miserably, okay? I personally need a human. I didn't get very far. But I really respect the founder and I really respect what this company is doing, even though it wasn't a fit for me. And I want you to meet Harry Novick.
Hi, Harry. Good to see you today. Thanks for joining me.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yes. Okay. So, all of you in attendance at Gala, Harry Novick is the founder and CEO of Rocky AI, which was founded in 2019 as a personal development platform and AI coaching app. Harry has also contributed to the ICF AI coaching standards. Harry, what was your path to Rocky AI?
Originally, I worked in an automation corporate as a business developer and director. One of my roles there was develop the future leaders and key account managers. But I got often so frustrated, as in most cases, most of these young leaders were excited for 3 days, and then the next Wednesday, everything was forgotten. And I was on a mission, let's change that.
Okay, so tell me, in a nutshell, what is Rocky AI?
It is an self-coaching and a micro-learning system that is embedded in the journey for young professionals, executives, but also people searching for career and the future role to get guidance in a daily, short, compact, interactive approach.
Okay. So the markets for Rocky AI, as I understand, are individuals, leaders, and HR within organizations, but also coaches. So for today's conversation, let's talk about that niche.
Yes, for coaches, we created 2 products. One product is giving them an interface to work remotely with their audience and their clients to actually sit in a control tower of an AI that helps them and their clients to follow up on what was done, to follow up on goals, to give them a tool to actually be there every day in this coaching experience when the coach is not there. And the second service, what we offer for coaches, is a white label version of our AI coaching app that allows them to add their own brand, their own coaching content, their own coaching questions, train the AI as their digital twin so that they can reach many more clients, users on a daily scale.
Yeah. Harry, we've spoken before and we'll speak again because I'm intrigued by what you're creating and the direction that you're going, the influence that Rocky AI will have on the industry. But I must say, with transparency, I have a hard time wrapping my brain around an AI bot replacing the coaching experience as I know it with my clients. Will you address that?
Yes. From the beginning, we never tried to actually replace the classical one-on-one coaching. And I even don't believe no software should replace that, if AI or any system. More importantly, we designed the product from the client's perspective so that they have a tool in the hand to actually practice what they have been coached to actually get access to that knowledge that the coach possesses. And secondly, even in reality, even if the coach would have all the time each day to coach, the number of people that can be coached in that time slots available is limited and exclusive. But with all that knowledge, our system also can provide a democratized coaching approach to clients who want to access your knowledge without buying and purchasing the premium prices for your time.
Okay. Well, Harry, you've given us all a lot to think about as we all open our minds to the possibilities and remain curious and open to what the future may bring. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Shelley. I'm happy to hear.
All right.
Okay, pretty interesting. Okay, now finally I get to talk. Okay, so, and really, I really am excited about what Harry's doing for this industry and what the possibilities are. When I said I couldn't get my brain around this, there's some stories that come to mind. And I was just actually thinking last night, well, what are some of these stories? What is it? And let me tell you, I'm just going to run through some things that I can't imagine having happened in an AI automated coaching system. I'm remembering a client who came in, and this is corporate. This is a corporate executive who came to coaching with a cycle of perfection, burnout, and procrastination. And it couldn't have been guessed outside this of the image that she put on. But it was making her not well. So we dove into that. The second meeting, I saw some quiet and some stillness and some gathered tears. And she told me a story I don't think I'll ever forget. She had actually, as a child, left Vietnam and had traveled for 3 days to a refugee camp in Malaysia. Her family of 8 was able to come to the U.S. Because of a relative who was able to get the 8 of them into the U.S. She had an amazing academic career, an amazing corporate path, but she was always wondering if she was deserved, if she was enough, if she'd made her proud parents who had done so much and risked so much to create this path. And her father had wanted her to be a doctor or a lawyer because that was guaranteed, that was secure, and she didn't go that direction. I don't think that she would have told a bot that. And we really went into a lot of coaching that was very efficient. Client number 2, very crisp, executive. I'm here, my corporation's paying. My deliverable from coaching will be, probably won't need the 6 months, will be a deliverable because I'm going to align my gifts, passions, and purpose to a career path. I am going to map that career path. I am going to put together some target actions to get there. That's great. Okay, let's go. I mean, a month in, we're just not getting anywhere. I'm like, I know how this person performs. I mean, boom, 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 she's on promotion track. What's going on? And she realized she had some inertia. This cycle of more work, more sacrifice, more exhaustion was really what was happening. And she came to coaching, and we're in that mode, and that really wasn't the mode, that she wanted to. 3 months later, you can't make this stuff up. 3 months later, she came back and had accessed the wisdom of ancestors with the guidance of a shaman via a pilgrimage into the Gobi Desert with 33 family members. She came back and she was ethereal. She has been promoted like crazy. She has decided she does want those goals that she went on a pendulum with, right? But it's from such a different place. And again, how do you, as a machine, weave through all this, okay? We still refer to the Gobi Desert, like, what's your Gobi, how are you working on the Gobi Desert experience now? What's going on with the Gobi Desert right now in your being? Okay, client number 4. Sometimes it's not what happens in meetings. I had another executive client who, he needed to do coaching because his president said, you've got to do this coaching and you're on this promotion track. He's missing meetings, always with a good excuse, always the AE saying this huge thing came up, and we're missing meetings. He takes a month off. I know this is not good for his career. It's visible if he's not doing his coaching. This isn't about me. I'm worried for him. So I met him where he was, And I said, you know what? Where your brain's at, and by the way, he was working on becoming softer, making more time, humanizing his approach. But I said, we're gonna meet before work on a 30-minute cadence, not an hour meeting, 30 minutes, early, boom, we did it. And now he's a fan. I had to gather that information from other clues. Okay, this is my last story. It's really fun. My biggest corporate client, I don't have a slide for this, but I will show you the picture, anyone that wants to see it afterwards. I have on there fun, right? Yeah, laughter and fun. I mean, sometimes I know what clients I can cuss with. I know what clients I can joke with. I know which clients I can't. But I show up as my real self, not my bot self, right? And there was one client, it was my first meeting. Turns out to be like a very, very important contract. I'd gone to a fabulous party the night before. I had face paint. It was beautiful. I've done this before. I wanted to wear it for a couple days. I did. I wore that to my first meeting. Could have gone wrong, but it didn't. It has become, that head of talent, like a billion-dollar company, has become my best corporate client. Just to say, showing up as yourself, being a human has many benefits. Okay, we're going to do an exit survey, okay? We've looked at a lot of different possibilities here. We're at time. I've got to get you there. Okay. Remember these 3 outcomes when it comes to Q&A, right? Your brand, your now, your later. And let's see what your emotions, we talked about how you arrived. How are you leaving? Okay. And we will I see some phones still up. Everyone's good. Are you good?
Just another minute to just
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do Q&A for those of you that have your phones down. It looks like just a few. Okay, great. Okay, so any questions, any thoughts as we push through these final minutes, and Paul will give us a report when it's ready. Okay? Paul? Yes, please. Oh, yeah.
So do you actually use AI in your coaching at all?
So great question. So you saw an AI-generated image. You saw, I should have said the survey that I did with my clients, I used AI to build out some of the questions, and they were better because of it. I have gone into a session and thought, I wonder, based on a couple prompts, what the agenda would be. I like my agenda as much better. I will tell you that for a new coach, someone that was getting their feet wet, I think this would be a great use. I just am like pretty old and seasoned, and I didn't find that to be as applicable. Now, the future, I am going to talk to Harry more. I'm interested in knowing about about expanding my brand, through that, not to cannibalize, but what about these corporate contracts? What about, and what I seek, and this is how to think, is how could I do this, but somehow integrate a personal component? Like, I just still want to meet that person sometime, some way. Maybe there's a group gathering of people who are using this, a quarterly team meeting or something. I'm not there yet. But before I agreed to come here and talk about this, my brain wasn't, my kids were still saying, why are you talking about AI? So it's expanded. Thanks for the question. Anything else?